about the scoreboard or anything else, but how you played the game, the way you competed in the game, play the next play the man in front of you, do the simple things that get results. And I think our team did a tremendous job of that. I think in all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, we had good focus, played with great leverage on the ball and defense and special teams for the most part until the end right there on that one. Offensively, put hats on hats, gave our skill guys chances to make plays, got to the ball where it needed to be gotten to, picked up blitzes. And they were a very physical team. That was a physical football team. They played physical. And all the games coming in, they were big body guys. I was proud of the way the new young guys on offense stepped up and started. Some of the new guys on defense that are getting incorporated in there with McFadden and some of those other young freshmen, 19, A.J. Westbrook, all those guys. The young receivers getting back in, and the young backs that did, the young linemen, all those guys making contributions. Very proud of them. But I think we did a real nice job in how we prepared for the week and how we played during the game. So from that standpoint and with the passion they played with, the enthusiasm, the fire, tremendously happy with that. Now we got to have another great week going to play Clemson. We'll play an outstanding football team, good in all three phases right now, probably playing as well as anybody in the country. I mean, they got great skill guys. They got big guys on defense. In the secondary linebacker, I mean, they got guys everywhere. They coach very well, good special teams. It'll be a tremendous challenge going up there to play them. And, we play them every year. It seems like it's always a critical game in the year, but all games are critical. There's no one game is any more critical than any other because they all count the same. So we have to prepare well, get ready to play well, and hopefully we will. Questions?
On that note, just how much has this game just become a defining game of the season? You just talked about how critical it was.
I don't think it's a defining game of the season. I don't think any part of that's defining. I think all games are defining. I think you have to play them all the same. They're all the same responsibility as far as wins and losses and what they stand for. And I think it's just how you play in the game. I mean, it's had impact. At the end of the year, that's the two teams that usually have had the best record the last few years. But as far as defining games of the season, I don't ever look at things like that.
How's everyone feeling health-wise?
Okay, I mean, I haven't seen him yet. I haven't been able to meet with him. I mean, so he'll be evaluated and see where we stand from there.
Any idea how much he'll practice today yet?
No, I don't. I mean, I think probably about like he did. I mean, he'll be able to. I think from what I'm hearing, I got to sit down with him and Jake when we get out of here after the doctors have seen him, and see exactly how many reps or what we'll do there.
How did Sean grade out?
Graded out well. Graded out well. Had game management checks. Things did very well. Made plays. Good decisions with the football, and even a couple throws he missed, he still was going to the right place with the ball. So the decision making was very good. There was still some plays we could have made. We left on the field. A couple big plays. A couple of them touchdowns possibly, but also part of that I like is how he rebounded back from that miss, what the next play was like, which is very important for guys, even young players that, they get frustrated. They want to make every play. You know what I mean? Or guys that haven't played a lot when they don't get a lot of opportunities can get frustrated very easily if you miss a play. Didn't do that play with a lot of maturity in the game. Thought he played well.
Even if Everett is cleared, is it a guarantee that he'd be the starter, or is it what you said?
No, well, I can't judge that till I see the health of Everett. I mean, I hate to say that. I decline the question. I don't know what you want to hear, but I don't have enough information to see, because not just the health wise. I already have, is he healthy enough to play? Or is he playing well during practice? Has he responded well? We'll have to wait and see. But we feel very comfortable. We have two guys that we know now that can come in and play very well. Both have had outstanding games throughout this whole season. Everett's had a 370-yard game. Sean's had a 350-yard game. Touchdowns in big games. So we feel, like I said before, we feel very comfortable with the two quarterbacks in our system.
If Everett is healthy, do you see a situation where maybe you go two-quarterback system?
I will do whatever we have to do to win. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see how his injury goes. He's healing up, and Dalvin's a miraculous guy, but we'll have to wait and see.
If he is able to go Dalvin, it would be nice that he got an extra week to rest the hamstring, right?
It was. The hamstring's actually really good. He had no problem with it in the last game at Georgia Tech. It was just the ankle and where he was. But it was good that he did get off of that. I mean, as far as that goes, and got out. Now he's got to get the ankle healed up.
You see a possibility of Dalvin and Patrick in the backfield at the same time?
Well, we could if their knowledge of. We've done that in the past with all of our tailbacks and done that a bunch. It's just a matter of what they're capable of handling, and the new guys are capable of handling when the ball's not just going to you, when it's going away from you. And you take a fullback's role, which we have done that with two tailbacks, but we don't know if Dalvin will play, and we got to see, if Jacquez can handle that.
I don't know the last time a freshman's had 12 tackles in a game, but Derwin, seemed like he was everywhere, even the play where he batted the pass and still made the tackle.
And then caused a fumble. Caused a fumble. And then on special teams, watch him running down the field causing chaos. I mean, I just think the more he gets out there, the more comfortable he gets playing. You know what I mean? And it's just more natural, and he feeds off that because he's a competitor and a guy who loves ball in every shape and form and loves to compete. So you can just see his ability. He's playing so much, but his confidence just keeps growing. You know what I mean? In what he's doing, he's got a chance to be a really, really, really good player.
When Nate got hurt, did you guys think he was about ready?
Yeah, we felt good. I mean, but there was still what we asked him to do, the amount of volume of things, because safety is a lot like quarterback. You check here, this here, and all of a sudden you get in the wrong part of the field, which he did once or twice in the year at times. Got too wide, just alignments, no assignment, but the technique's bad. I mean, it's easy to put him in there, but those mistakes in that end cost you 6 points. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. So I mean, but and that's the thing about him that it impresses me the most. Not only his instincts, but he's a very, very intelligent guy. Learns well, and he learns from mistakes well. So, but we felt comfortable, he was getting to that point.
Did Jacquez play as well as it looked like he played?
He played pretty well. I mean, he missed a cut or two on some runs, and I think, as the game went on, you saw him run with more confidence and power, and just getting in, sometimes when you're young like that and you're getting hit, and I told him, I said, listen, when you're your size, guys don't like hitting you. Just remember that. You got to do that. But you're young, you got to fight through that. But he played well. I mean, and caught the ball well and picked up blitzes well. All of his blitz pickups were there. Caught the ball, I think, at 6 catches. Had 6 catches out of the backfield. I mean, which we use Dalvin a lot out of the backfield, too. Our backs are always – that's what I say, the thing about our offense. They're not all designed to him, but if the reads take him there, that's where they go. We have a lot of ability to do that, and that's why it's important to be – not only be able to run the ball to catch the ball, but he played well.
Okay, but the last couple of games, Clemson 58 points, 56 points. What are they doing so well offensively?
Just executing. I mean, they're getting hats on hats, and they're playing with great confidence. You can see them playing fast, making those tight plays, those contested plays. Quarterback plays with a lot of confidence. They're blocking well. They can run the football. They have playmakers. I mean, they're confident. You can just see them playing more and more confident each week.
How much better is Deshaun a year later?
Oh, ton. You see a totally different, demeanor on him because of just, I think, knowledge, presence, poise, just seated at the line of scrimmage. Like I even said in Kaya, as much as Kaya produced last year, as I watched him just approach the line of scrimmage and how he controls things as a quarterback guy, you can just say, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. He's in control of things, and you just see that out of him.
Seems like the defense in the second half, the last 2 games, has been playing really well. No points against Syracuse, and then, of course, 6 against Georgia Tech. How pleased have you been with their effort in the second half?
Well, good. Been good in the first half. We haven't been that bad in the first half either. I mean, they have a few things, but I think our defense has had a very good year. I mean, we're going to have to play an outstanding game in this one because these guys are outstanding too. But I've been extremely pleased with our defense and the way they've been playing.
Coach, how's Mario and Terrence doing? Is there any other injuries?
Mario
Bender?
Okay, he'll practice, but he won't have no contact. He won't be able to play. And Terrence, it'll just be a matter of we can see this week, can he change direction? He's got strength. He can run straight ahead, but that's high ankles. The thing about it, when you have to change and go laterally, that's the thing about because those bones split up inside, that up in there, and those ligaments, they get stretched. That's the thing about a high ankle. And not a lot of swelling, we got to get the power back in it.
Everybody else come out of the Syracuse game okay?
Yeah, pretty relatively. Just normal nicks and knacks.
You always talk about the importance of just executing in the red zone against a team that's as good as Clemson is offensively. How do you avoid just putting more pressure on yourself in the red zone because you want to keep up with them?
You put pressure on yourself every time. It's no different. It doesn't matter what because it's all about what you do. You put pressure on yourself all the time anyway, no matter who your opponent is. We don't ever look at, they won't score as much, so we don't have to score as much in the red zone. I don't mean that to be smart, but I mean that's kind of the way we just approach it the same way we always do. We keep the same amount of pressure no matter what the situation.
Were you pleased with the red zone offense this week?
We did. We punched it in, got it in the end zone, had a critical third down we threw, and then picked up a critical third down there once on a slant, picked up 2 critical third down. And third down conversions in the red zone are extremely hard, especially when you get to 3rd and 7 or more. The red zone, there's not a lot of room to operate in there. And then we picked 2 of those up, which were very critical for those 2 plays, and then, of course, we scored on the other. But we worked on it, and we'll keep getting better. Like I said before, the things before were execution. What we're doing isn't broke, just we have to do it better. We have to coach it better. And we did it last week.
Having a big guy like Jacquez Patrick, I mean, obviously Dalvin and Mario are good in the red zone too, but having a big guy like Jacquez
can help you at times. It can, but I mean, the ones we converted on. I mean, he only had we had 2 goal line runs down there, but we blocked him on first down. But Dalvin ran it in at Georgia Tech. I mean, but it does help having a big back. There's no doubt.
Jimbo, I guess one of the Syracuse coaches said that they felt like, from watching film, that Ever didn't check out of plays a lot, where they thought McGuire did. Is that accurate? Or?
He checked out a bunch. He checked out a bunch. He checked out of a bunch of plays and what he did and where he was. I mean, so exactly the same.
You think that was a breakthrough game for Travis Rudolph, in a heck of a game?
Well, I don't know if it's, I don't know what a breakthrough game is, and I don't mean that to be, but play like you're capable of playing, and play breakthrough games. A lot of times, and what you do is your opportunities presented in front of you. Like I said before, I mean, to me, I thought Travis was outstanding. I thought the first play set the tone. I thought he made plays down the field. I thought he did a great job. But also, I thought Bobo, as far as a coaching standpoint, didn't make many big plays, but I thought Bobo played as well as Travis did. He didn't have the opportunity for the big plays, but critical catches, blocks, things he did, little things he did. I mean, to me, when people say breakthrough games, what I like to say is a guy plays up to his capabilities and his opportunities. The guy, and when he has the opportunities to make plays, he's making them, and he did in that game, and I'm very happy. And I think he's extremely capable, and I hope he continues because we need him to, because he can make a ton of those plays.
Jimbo, punt returns haven't been fantastic, obviously, this season. You had 2 good ones in the game. They got called back a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys trying to do to turn that around?
You can't. You guys are punting the ball. Tell you what, you can argue all you want. People don't return them against us till the end. I mean, we didn't cover. Guys are kicking the ball so well that the game's changed. I mean, field goals, field goal kickers, kickoff. I mean, used to be if a guy kicked the ball out of the end zone, you had the 1 or 2 or 3 guys in the country that you did. Now everybody kicks it out of the daggone end zone. Look at punters the NFL. They don't miss field goals. Punters, every guy can kick it 40-plus yards with a 4-0 hang or a 4-2 hang, a 4-3 hang. I think a lot of that has to do anymore with the quality of the kickers themselves and how well, just like in the passing games, how numbers have kind of become skewed to old-time numbers. It's hard to compare the quality of quarterbacks, I think, but with the new guys, as far as if you go numbers, yes, but you got to play quality playing. Kickers, too, punters. Remember, Ray Guy, when he could kick it like that, he was considered, him and Reggie Roby and a couple guys were considered freaks at the time. Now everybody kicks a daggone thing like that. I mean, I think the quality of kickers makes that very tough to cover. And, I mean, we hold up, but when they're getting 4-0 hangs, 4-2 hangs, and the reason we got both returns, if you think about it, they actually out-kicked the coverage. Both of them were kicks that we went back and caught deep and then circled back. I mean, if they kick it 40, 42 yards and kick a 4-0, 4-2 hang, there isn't a lot you're going to do in return. And I think I think you're seeing that across the country everywhere because of the quality of kickers. And when you do have them, for instance, in ours, we didn't cover as well, but we had a bad kick. We kicked the ball in the middle of the field with about a 3-3 hang, 3-4 hang. We're working on our gunners and our hold-ups and our block. We went after block. We've done a ton of things. But if that guy hits it good and hits it right, it's really hard to get a really, really good return.
Jimbo, before 2 years ago, Florida State had a lot of trouble winning at Clemson. I know it's a different team, but how does that has to help, right? The guys who've gone up there and won a game.
Yeah, I think confidence and anywhere to know that you can win anywhere. But that is one of the tough places to play, probably one of the toughest places in the country, just like our place is. I mean, it's a great atmosphere. It's a great environment. And then everybody says there's tough places to play. Well, you know the toughest places to play? The ones that have real good players. And they've got real good players too. So, I mean, that all comes into it. But, yeah, you got to have confidence and know you can win there, and we have done it before.
Tom D'Angelo?
Yeah, hey, Jimbo.
Hey, Tom. How you doing, buddy?
Okay. Jimbo, if Everett is healthy, do you approach the week like you did before, like during camp when you're trying to decide on a quarterback for the week? Can you do that?
Again, Tom, I can't answer that, so I know where his health is or what he's doing on the field and how consistent he is. I refuse the question because until I get all the information, I'm not trying to avoid it. But I can't answer it. I mean, I really can't answer it honestly.
Okay, and second,
And I don't know. Do I see him? What I'll do?
sorry.
I don't know what I'll do. Do I see him and see where he's at? He may be fully go, and we'll practice and do. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Considering Jaquez, how do you going forward with a healthy Dalvin? How can you incorporate him in? Can you use them together? How much more?
Well, both. I think you can do both. And I think you will get quality reps, and you feel comfortable putting him in the game, knowing what he can do in situations, and that he's finally capable and gotten over that hump and what he's doing. You'll feel very comfortable with that. And that rotation, I think, will help both of them.
And lastly, can you just talk about Deshaun Watson? Defending him, where is he most dangerous? In the pocket, out of the pocket? What do you do?
Both. I mean, I say that he's out of the pocket. He's dangerous with his arm and his legs. In the pocket, he's dangerous with his arm and his legs. In other words, he can scramble from within. He can move within by time. Has all the arm strength and accuracy to make all the throws across the field at all levels. And he's a great instinctive football player, tough guy, competitor. I mean, he's a very, 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 very good player.
Thanks, Jimbo.
Thank you.
Matt, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Jimbo, we talked a little bit about Clemson's offense. What do you see, or what jumps out to you most on defense? I'm guessing the front seven especially.
Well, I mean, they got big guys up front. They've got 24 sacks on the year, I believe it is. They got a bunch of tackles for loss, over 70 tackles for loss. They cause chaos. They're big inside with interior guys. They got edge pressing with Shaq and Dodd, and those guys can pressure the passer. The backers are experienced. They play a lot of nickel. They blitz you in different looks. Coverages with Alexander and Curse and Green and Tankersley and all those guys. I mean, they all cover well blanks. I mean, they're a very, very talented group across the board at all levels. I mean, all those guys will play in the NFL.
Thanks, Jimbo.
Thank you.
As far as someone like Marquez White, what kind of role do you see him playing in a game like this where, especially with Syracuse, they love to throw the ball around quite a bit?
Well, I mean, Marquez is huge. Marquez is playing really well right now. Last 2 or 3 weeks and early in the season, I think Marquez had an outstanding year. And we speak of Jalen so much, he's having a great year, but Marquez is a very talented ball skill guy that covers, can run. He's like we thought. I mean, he's developing into the player we really thought he could be, and very happy. And I mean, all of our guys everywhere on defense, because they're going to throw it to all those guys. Everybody's going to have the critical roles.
Coach, with the recent success of both your teams, how has the stage changed for you guys as far as this game? I mean, the last 3 years have been, prime time, and just the way that this game has evolved.
No, I mean, it is. It's what you want. I think it's great for our conference that you have two teams that have had so much success over the years, and that's what your conference and your league and everything wants. And then it becomes a primetime national game, not just a conference game. And I think that's emerging in the quality of the players in the ACC and what kind of league we have. And I'm proud to be a part of it. I mean, there's a lot of great teams in this league, and but the Clemson Florida State rivalry has been one of the best. And it has a lot of implications as far as our division in the conference, and then being able to get to a conference title game, but also even when they haven't, both our teams have played in BCS games in the same year. I mean, in different things. So I mean, it's a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity for them. It's great for our league.
Speaking of the conference, what do you think of the Miami play and then the fallout the next day?
I have no. I mean, it's you wish officials made all the right calls. I mean, but they don't do them on purpose. But I don't know all the circumstances. Didn't see all of it totally. Don't understand the whole thing. And but sometimes we relish on one play, which was their last play of the game, which is critical. But I always say this: there's a lot of plays during a game that can cause it to get to that point too. That's just as critical to me as a coach too. So, I think you have to look at all the things in hand. But it's a shame that it has to come down to that. I don't know all the details, and I don't want to make a comment on it. But you wish every game was called perfect, but it can't. That's human error. That's part of it. But you just wish you could get it right. Not for the fans' sake, not for the media's sake, not for the coaches. You know who for? The players' sake, for the kids. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids.
Would you ever be in favor, speaking generally, of a conference or whoever being able to overturn a result like?
No. Because this is what I said before. It may be the last play of the game and it could be controversial, but what about the play that happened in the first quarter that was just as controversial that caused that situation to be there? Now, I may rethink that in time if I really think through it, but as of right now, when someone asked me that today, my first thing is no, because there may have been one or two or three plays in the first quarter or second quarter that turned the game just as much as that play did, even though it was the last play. So I don't think we can. You start going down that road now, you're going down a heck of a road. I mean, and we put it all on one play because the earlier plays dictate what happens later in the game. If we can't fix all of them, we can't just fix one of them. That's my first thought now. I had to think through it, and that's quickly because somebody asked me that today, and I thought, well, how can they do that? I said, because I got to think. I said, well, the play in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, or 2 plays before that. Why is it? So basically, you're basing it off one play, the last play of a game. How is that play any more important than the other plays?
Like a missed horse collar, for example.
Would you quit chumming? Huh? I'm not hungry today.
When it comes to lateral plays like that, is there any way to practice that, or is it almost like a scramble drill?
You can practice it, but you got to do it. You can't do it organized. It's just got to be that's instinct and intuition and kind of just as you go, because you draw it up and practice it. Tell me how to do it. I'll be happy to. But I mean, you work on things. You may try to work on things like that, but it's hard to do, and it's hard. And how do you work against it? Just like how many times you going to really work, like the punt that happened, the situation that happened at Michigan as far as a drop punt or the block kick with us. You cover it, but till you cover it live and all the things that happen, all the different people did. Well, you do it with everybody's fine and they fan out across the field. Well, these 4 guys get knocked down. These 3 guys stand up. These 2 guys go in the wrong lane, and these 2 guys. I mean, there's things like that. that's going to be that gray area ball that you hope your guys figure out. I mean, you talk through them, you talk about it, you talk about all the scenarios, and you pray to God to get it right.
Going back to Corey's question for a second on first callers, when you have plays like that, do you email directly to the commissioner? Or
No, they're the head of officials. We send them in, and he responds back, and he'll say yes, it's a missed call or not a missed call, and they have a grading system for their officials and all those type. They handle all those things, and I'm very happy with our head of it. He does a great job. He as far as handling and communicating with you and addressing issues, and he has done a tremendous job of that.
Jimbo, on the road, the offense production hasn't been what it's been at home. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people, but is there one or two things you would point to?
Well, I don't know. Communication can be there. I think experience, just knowledge. We've had young guys, multiple starting lineups. There could be tons of things that cause. But at the end of the day, you just got to do your job. At the end of the day, it all gets down to one thing: do your job. You got a job to do it individually. Because one game is this, one game is that, one game is penalties, one game. What makes a guy miss a throw on the road and make it at home? I don't know. Some guys like sleeping on their own couch. Some guys don't like sleeping on their own couch, I guess. You know what I mean? I guess you can get back to that. But I think just experience, knowledge, and the repetition of doing it over and over, and I think confidence, going on the road with confidence. And it'll be a huge challenge for us because that's a very tough place to play.
Clemson's had a hard time defending kickoff returns at times this season. Is there anything in particular you can try to emphasize to take advantage of that, or is it just a matter?
Well, I think you got to do that in the kicking game and every phase of a game. When you're playing great teams like that, you got to maximize every yard. So you got to look at things in every part of your game to make sure that they don't happen to you, but you can maximize in the special teams too. We will try. We will look at every avenue. I promise.
Roberto's a naturally confident guy. Any issues with his confidence, considering that?
I hope not. But I'm gonna say this: like all quarterbacks are confident. They miss a few throws. Oh Lord, you realize it's not as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems. Go back to your fundamentals. Go back to what got you there. Kick the ball, throw the ball, catch the ball. Like Travis. Why was Travis? Had a couple plays he could have made, and all of a sudden makes tremendous plays. You know what I mean? You got to go back to fundamentals and just go back to his fundamentals, and hopefully he'll kick it.
As far as the offensive line is concerned, what was your thoughts on them? A little bit more consistent last game than they've been previously?
Yeah. Well, you go back 3 of the last 4 games, we've had over 500 yards now. The Georgia Tech game's the only game we've been under 500 in the last 3 games. So they've gotten more consistent, much better throughout the year. Running ball, doing things. And what we were doing. So, but I still think their confidence grows as they do, and I think when you can run it and pass it like we did the other day, their confidence grows because they see the results of what they're doing. So hopefully we can keep their confidence growing.
How'd Everly do in the first start?
Really well. Had a couple missed plays and a couple of bad angles he took on things, but for the most part, did one heck of a job. He's athletic in there now. He's strong. He's tough. He got a great demeanor. Really, I think he's got a chance to be a really, really good player.
Fans and media hype this game up a lot. Obviously, you said every game is the same guys. How difficult is it to kind of work with so many young guys that play big minutes on a team like this and remind them not to do too much and just stay?
We'll coach it and let the older guys reinforce that, and we have to as coaches. It's just has to be part of our talk and our reinforcement all week, and hopefully they'll handle that and listen. And understanding that Georgia Tech was a huge game, just as critical. That you got to play that one, you got to play this one, you got to play, and he played that one way, this one away. Now maybe our way's the best way. You know what I'm saying? As far as how your mindset going in, and I think that's what you have to train is their minds and get them to trust and believe in everything. But that comes with experience and time, and you just got to keep preaching it.
When you watch film against Clemson, what for you kind of stand out? Is it the way they handled Miami or the way they did NC State? Because on one hand they were dominant, on the other they showed they can give up points. So what do you guys look at more?
Everybody. That's called human. That's called being human. There's no team that can't be beaten. There's no team that can't win. It goes both ways. The point being, it's about attitude, demeanor, situation, how you play on certain days, and that's what makes athletics. We don't ever know the results, and also what the next guy's going to do. And sometimes the other guy on the other team he's on scholarship too, so you got to give him credit. We look at all things. We look at all phases. But I know this: they're an extremely talented football team who plays very well and has played very well for a long time. Oh, it ranks right in there now. Like I say, you get 8, 10, 12 places across the country they say are the greatest. When it gets so loud, it only gets so. What else you want? You know what I mean? They get in the environment and hostility, but it's a great environment as to play a college football game. It's one of the best. It really is.
What was your reaction to Frank Beamer announcing his
happy and sad. And I mean it this way. It's sad because I think college football lost a tremendous coach and a better man. And I don't say that in disregard to his coaching. I mean, 70 wins or something, 70-some wins or something like that. Am I right? Am I off on that? 277. I mean, think about how many football games that is. How many seasons. But also extremely happy for him. If this is what he wants to do, when he wants to do it for the right reasons, everything's okay, is that he finally gets to enjoy it. All the hard work, getting to be with his family and his love, and it is tough because that's what you do your whole life. But the grind of this job and the demands of this job and the time it takes away from family and friends and the things that at the end of the day we think this job is the most important thing in the world, but it really isn't. Family, friends, health, and all those kind of things are, and for him to be able to go hopefully enjoy the great years of his life and he has left to enjoy that and to be part of it, I'm happy for him because I know what kind of grind it is in this business. I understand, and the years and times that he's done and him to take, but then at the same time, it's sad because of what he's been able to do, one of the great pioneers, and what he did at Virginia Tech and how he built them into a national power and the consistency and the things he did and the dignity he did it with. Frank's one of my favorite guys. I mean, just tremendously classy guy in every regard. And I hope I hope everything he's doing it for all the reasons he wants to do it with, and if not, God bless him any other way. But he's a tremendous guy for football and coaching and everything else. But, there's a family out there that has sacrificed a lot for him to do those things too, and hopefully he'll get to be with them now for a long time.
Not a lot of people in your profession get to leave on their own terms.
No, doesn't work. And I think that's going to get fewer and fewer as time goes on. You're right, and that just again shows you how great he is because very few do.
Do you remember that program before him?
Oh yeah, I mean, some guys know how, because being from West Virginia, they would play them every year. You know what I'm saying? They had their good years, and I think when Bill Dooley and some of those guys were coaching there, they had some really good years in the 80s and coming through there, and then he left, and then Frank came in. They struggled. They struggled for his first 4 or 5 years. And I think was close to, I won't say this, I mean, he didn't have a lot of success till about that 6th year, and that was pushing the envelope of when to do something. All of a sudden they took off, and he really built it into a heck of a place.
Is the punt Ruski still in the game plan?
Punt Ruski. Yeah, 88. If it works, it will. Punts changed the daggone much now.
Yeah.
The old tight punt formation, now you're in spread and all the different things.
Is it better to play them in the afternoon or night up there?
I don't know. You have to just play them anyway. We look forward to playing them. I mean, it's a great game. I don't know. The atmosphere is going to be tough either way.
Last couple of years, you guys have really been hit by injuries.
Been hit that way all year when you really go through it.
It's been
Through camp, everything. Oh, much. It's way above. But at the end of the day, nobody wants to hear that. We probably have, 18, 20, 22, 24 starters out all year. I mean, some guys, like I said the other day, the team that somebody asked me which team's better, the team sitting out or the team playing. I had to think about it. I didn't know. But again, that's part of ball. That's why you recruit well. That's why I think kids that look at depth charts so much. Well, you got 3 players. Just guys, if you're in that 85, I promise you, and you're a good player, you're going to have tons of opportunities to play, tons of chances to play because of injuries, bangs up the way football is and what it is. But people don't want to hear that. Your job is next guy up, and you got to coach them and figure out how to play. And I've been very proud of our assistant coaches have done a tremendous job with the amount of different starting lineups, the different guys we've had to pull out of key positions in the middle of games, after games, going into games, 2 days short of games. I think our staff's done one heck of a job as far as keeping that team together and progressing and getting better and getting a lot of these young players developed at an early stage so they can contribute. I think we played, 28 freshmen this year? Think about that. That's a lot of freshmen now. So probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country as far as playing freshmen. So that's exciting and encouraging, and for what we got going on in the future, keep growing.
Jimbo, sorry, last question, I promise.
It's all right. It's my press conference. I do what I want to do.
Jamie Elliott was kind of a novelty when he played that first game, but it seems how well is he playing? Because he's playing a lot for you.
And making plays consistently now. This guy locks in and does it. He's doing a really nice job. And again, I said it wasn't a deal that he was the only guy we had left. I mean, this guy earned the scholarship. We said, damn, this guy can be a contributor. If this guy's in the game, we feel comfortable. He can play. I mean, he can play at this level.
Did it seem like Syracuse tried to take shots?
They did. They took 2 or 3 on him down there, and he made the plays, got there and made the position on the ball, and did a really nice job.
All right.
Wait a minute. So y'all listen to him over me. Anybody got a question? All right, I figured you did. What do you want?
Well, no, seriously, I guess just my question would be.
I would be serious. I would just.
Okay, well, no.
I'll tell you.
With all the different openings that are going on, with all these different schools, do you think people are starting to now kind of understand how hard it is to win, and that it's just something that just doesn't happen because you?
I hope so. I hope so. And the consistency in a program. I mean, I say this: you got to have consistency, but it's good to have a little change. Consistency is going to move around that because you got to get that lifeblood going. But I think it is, and you know, and people say that all the time. Well, this guy needs to go. That guy needs to go. All right, who are you going to hire? Who do you know that's going to guarantee you come in and win? And can guarantee those things. I mean, when you start getting to that other end of it, well, it don't matter. Just pull that. Well, let your butt be on the line for firing that guy and hiring the next guy. I mean, and I think, you know, Frank's a great example I made. I mean, he goes 4 or 5 years, had good seasons, but, you know, by today's standards, they'd be trying to throw you out of the business. What I say, you know, they give him time. They give him time to build a program, get his players in there. And you saw what Virginia Tech took off to. I mean, and I use that for an example. I mean, even Coach Bowden at early stages had a lot of success and had some really good areas. But, I mean, not the 10, 9, 10, 11 wins. They went through some 7, 8 win seasons, a couple. But he was still the same coach. I mean, you know, we want to change, and players are like that. It's like our kids. I want to transfer here. I ain't playing immediately. I ain't doing this. Well, all of a sudden, 2 guys get hurt 2 weeks later. Now you're the starter. I mean, you know, our world is such a quick change world. We want to change, but we don't have we don't think about what that change causes and who you're going to hire and who you're going to bring in and all the. I mean, there's so many moving parts to so many things today. I mean, there really are. And I mean, I know as a coach, it sounds like, well, yeah, you're taking up, but I look at it. If I'm an AD. Put yourself, you're the AD or whatever. I mean, you're going to pay all those guys off, and you're going to pay that guy, and you're going to get that guy from that job, so you're going to have to pay him another $3 million more to get him away from that job. I mean, you know, when you get good people, be patient. You know, I say this. Who's one of the best organizations in pro football consistently, year in, year out?
New England.
Who else?
Steelers.
Steelers.
Green Bay.
Steelers. How many head coaches they all had?
4. 3.
Pittsburgh's had 3. Noel, Coward, and Tom. And they both of them, all of them had a couple years in there that they 500, didn't make a playoff. But that organization stays strong. You know, I mean, you got New England right there who stayed. They had Parcells, and they went to Carroll, and then got one back to Belichick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, guys who just don't panic. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, because you get spoiled. I mean, as far as, and we all want to win, don't think it. But sometimes the other guy's on scholarship. Sometimes you have injuries. Sometimes you have this. Sometimes you have that. There's reasons things happen. And sometimes you just don't win them all. I mean, but it is. I think it's getting harder and harder. And I say this, who those guys going to hire? That's the key.
Well, and also, I mean, I think you started out like 12-6, 12-7,
Yeah.
and then you won 34.
Is that, I mean, you have a bad break. We had injuries. You had a bunch of injuries in 2011. Remember, we had a good 2010. And we lost 2 of those games by what? We actually knocked the ball out of a guy's hand and missed a field goal.
Yep.
And then in 2011, we get our quarterback hurt in the game. We're good. And play, for instance, Clemson this week. Somebody said, if you're going to play with McGuire, I said, what's normal? 3 out of the 5 years we've played him, we play with a backup.
Right.
Out of the 5 years we've played Clemson, 3 of the 5 we played with a backup quarterback. First year was with EJ. 2011, we played with Clint. And then last year we played with Sean. So, I mean, it would be normal. I mean, that's just what that means. The only 2 games we ever played was the one we played here with EJ and the one we played up there with James. That's the only time we ever had to play with our starting quarterback in the 5 years we played him. I mean, so, I mean, it's just, and then, you know, you miss another field goal here. You miss this. I mean, there's just if you see the direction and the intent and how teams, like I said in that game, what I measured our team by wasn't the score last week, how they played, tenacity they played with, execute, you know, just how the program's going. I mean, you gotta give time. And nobody, I like players. And I said, well, he's a young guy. Well, you didn't make any mistakes when you were young. He didn't make them on purpose. But again, I'm not complaining. It's just the world we live in. That's the rules that are made, and that's the world we live in. But it's a great point. I never thought about it like that, like you were saying it right there. But there is a lot of them this year for some reason, and they come in streaks like that.
Whoever replaces Beamer obviously is replacing a legend. You've been in that situation.
Yeah. I get a few calls every now and then from people who do that.
Is it tougher now just with the internet and 24/7 and everything?
Oh, no doubt. Social media makes this, 10 times tougher when you're replacing guys like that. Because everybody knows more about it, talks more about it. They can group up about it. Well, he didn't do it this way. Anytime you can get more people together socially, whether it, through internet or whatever, you can create more drama and more things that come up. It's much harder to coach play. Guys, I keep joking about this. The amount of pressure on players today, even compared to 6-8 years ago, it's scary. I know people, well, that's a big deal. All right, that's fine. I'm just telling you, though, from the kid's standpoint, the things they go through now as 18, 19, 20 is nothing like they went through in 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, even 2009, 10, 11. It is changing drastically every year. The amount of pressure and things that are on these kids and the pressure to perform. And, I mean, you wonder why there's so much depression and issues with children today and the inconsistencies and the things that go on. We put them in that way for our society because of the importance of sports. So that's why I do have nobody talks to the media as a freshman. Nobody. I set a lot of rules. I would love, guys, I would love for you to talk to all of them and know all of them. But, man, you got to bring these kids. There's an amount of pressures and situations they're in and things that are happening to them in their life and goes on. There's a ton. It's hard. There is, and then expectations, and it's just, I know we all want them, but at the end of the day, it's about the kids. And it's extremely, extremely different than it's ever been. But that's the world we live in. We have to manage it. That's our job as coaches, to figure out how to help them. I know people don't believe it, but it is now. And it almost pinches me sometimes. I'll wake up, man, 3 years ago, it wasn't nothing like that. I've said that 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Just things have happened. I mean, 3 years ago, that would have never even, I mean, you're talking about 3 years. I'm not talking about 10. I'm not going like my parents did. Back in 1942, when I used to get tired of hearing that, but I don't know what Trey said that. I said to Trey the other day, oh, I know. Here we go again, the old story. How bad you had it. Like Pap had it, now you had it. I said, all right. But I see it in the last 2, 3, 4 years. I really do. And it's not nobody's fault. You guys got to keep up, get stories out, get things out. It's nobody doing. It's just the world we live in, man. Everything is. Kids can't be kids. You don't let them grow up. It's fun we see them grow up early, but what are the damages we're doing to them? Wouldn't you like to be a kid again? You wouldn't?
No. Life's better now. No,
You're crazy. No, definitely.
You're crazy. I mean, but that's each individual. For me, I go back to be a freshman in high school in 2 seconds. Not a college. I go back to high school. I go back to grade middle school. I would. And we all had our trials and tribulations, but just the joy of the thing and just how the world was then. I mean, I love the simplicity of it back then. I really did. I mean, it's great. I mean, and just let these kids, I mean, it's going to be complicated enough for them all their life. Let them be kids for a while. Who's preaching now? Put your donations off, pass the plate around. All right. All right, we good? Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.